Welcome back to my channel, the #1 place to start your natural journey while embracing a natural lifestyle full of self-love, confidence, and determination. In today's video, I'm talking about natural hair and what it is. There's so many different terms and terminologies that are out here, and a lot of us that have been natural for years may or may not have even heard of these. And then if you're just starting your natural journey, you have absolutely no knowledge of what all this stuff means. So I thought to myself, like, why not make a video about that? So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing today. I decided to make this video because my mom watches my YouTube videos. Shout out to my mama, aka Mama Pie. She watches my videos and she asked me a question. She heard me say something about a particular product has great slip, and she is not a natural, technically, I guess, what you would consider to be a natural. She doesn't have a perm, but she doesn't like wear her hair in its natural state. And that's another thing too, like the definitions of like what a person is, what makes a person a natural and what doesn't make them natural, it's all very controversial. So she asked me a question about what is slip, because she, I guess, had never heard of it before. And it made me think, like, how many other people watch my videos and then they don't even know what these terms actually means, which slip is like a description of how a detangler or a conditioner has the slipperiness as you are like raking it and combing it through your hair. The more slip it has, essentially will help in assisting with you detangling your hair, right? But those type of things, like if you're not a part of the natural community, you have no idea what that means. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and jump into. Now, a lot of these terms, again, I want to just stress that if you're part of the natural community, you're going to know exactly what a lot of these terms are. And in no real particular order am I going to go in. I'm just going to pick some things that I feel like I want to share with people. So we're going to start with the #1 and most important thing I feel like is what is natural hair. So natural hair is the hair that naturally grows out of your hair that has not been texturized, relaxed, or chemically treated. Plain and simple. So technically, a lot of people can be natural, but they don't wear their natural hair out. But does that mean that you're not a natural? I don't think so, because based off the definition, you are a natural. Now, whether or not you support the natural hair community, it's a different story. There are also a lot of abbreviations. Like, I feel like in the natural hair community, we like to use a lot of abbreviations like TWA, which is teeny weeny afro, or CWC, which is condition, wash, condition, where you condition your hair, then you go ahead and shampoo it, and after the shampoo, you recondition it again. Or AVC rinse, which is a clarifying hair rinse that closes the follicles, which is something that I actually need to start doing. Or how about BC, which is big chop, and that is the process where you decide to go on your natural journey, or actually can be at any part of your natural journey, and you decide to cut off all of your chemically treated or texturized, relaxed hair and start completely fresh. I wasn't the person that did a big chop. I actually transitioned. And that is also another term that is used in the natural hair community, transitioning, which is the process in which you do not chop off all your hair, but you gradually allow your hair to grow out, and then you can cut. It's really up to you whether you want to like time it, like every 3 months you'll go ahead and cut off a certain amount, or as you see fit, as you go through your natural journey, you just continuously cut off your relaxed or chemically treated hair. Another one that I need to start back doing, which is a pre-poo. And that is a technique where you treat the hair with some type of oil, typically coconut oil, before you shampoo it. I have done that in the past, and I'm probably going to start doing it again, but I typically pre-poo, and I do it actually the night before, and I leave it overnight, and my hair comes out so shiny and looking just amazing. And pre-poo, also known as precondition, also helps prevent protein loss while combing wet. So, all this is like, okay, like I've heard all this stuff before, right? Let's jump into some things that maybe you haven't heard of before, like bagging technique. because when I read up on this, I had absolutely never heard of this a day in my life, but yet I didn't know that I was doing it. So the bagging method is a technique that you basically soak your hair with a moisturizer or a conditioner with a plastic cap on it, and you can do it a few different ways. You can either do this by just only having the cap on the ends of your hair, or you can have it over your entire head, but I had no idea that this had a name called bagging, and I've been doing this for years. Or what about banding? So that is a technique where you're attempting to stretch your natural hair out. Typically it's done in sections by using elastic bands down the length of the hair to stretch it. And there's like literally like bands everywhere. I've never done this technique, but I think everybody knows what banding is. Or what about one of my favorites, co-wash, which is condition wash. It's washing your hair with a conditioner that doesn't strip your hair from its natural nutrients that your hair needs. So we have banding down, you know what that is now, and we have bagging down. But let's jump to another method that a lot of naturals definitely use, which is the LOC method, which is liquid, cream, and oil. So since I have high porosity hair, which I'm gonna tell you what that means in a second, this is the perfect method for me, which this is a liquid. Liquid, a lot of times, is water is the base. Then we're gonna go ahead and add a cream on top of that, which should be a cream conditioner. And then we're gonna add an oil, which could be coconut oil, and then that seals and it locks in that moisture. People with high porosity, the LOC method is a great method for them to follow. And since I mentioned high porosity, let's jump into what is porosity. Porosity is how your hair retains moisture. If your hair loses moisture very quickly and is very dry, you're typically going to be in the high porosity range, which that is what I am. I cannot retain any type of moisture without applying certain type of products. It's very, very sad. And typically people that have high porosity, they have damaged hair. At least this is what it's known to be said. So I'm trying to work on that, and I would love for my porosity to be like in a normal range, but you really never really hear about normal porosity. You either hear people have high porosity or they have low porosity. Moving right along. So let's jump into what is dusting. Have you ever heard of this term before? So dusting is a hair trim where you're cutting less than 1/4 of an inch of hair. It's also known as light trim, where it would actually resemble like dust, I guess, because you're cutting off little pieces of hair, and if you were to have it like in a pile, I guess you could blow it away. So that is what dusting is. Some hairstylists will say, oh, I'm getting ready to dust your hair, and then it turns into a big chop.
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
Now you know what dusting means. So don't let nobody try to fool you. Don't let nobody catch you. One of my favorite techniques that I do every night that I wear a twist out, or if I am wearing a wash and go, is pineappling. Pineappling is like my nighttime hair care technique routine, where all of my hair is gathered on top of my head very loosely, and it helps preserve and protect my curls. If you do not pineapple your hair and you wear your hair in a natural style, you're wearing twist outs, you're wearing a wash and go, please start doing it, because your hair will come out so good for second day hair and third day hair. But you know, everybody always care about second day hair, which if you don't know what second day hair means, I guess that's also a natural hair term, where it's the type of hair that we are trying to achieve when we have applied a wash and go or a twist out, and we want our second day hair, which is the hair on the second day that you did this hairstyle, to look just as good as day one hair. You feel? So since we're talking about techniques, I feel like this is a technique that I'm probably going to start doing. This is the inversion method. And this is basically a method where you're trying to increase blood flow to the scalp, where you flip your head upside down, or you can be upside down. Typically people do this, like hang their head over the edge of their bed or couch or something of that nature. And you are going to massage your scalp for about 5 minutes. Typically you put a little oil on your fingers and you just massage. So this is actually supposed to increase the blood flow to the scalp, which essentially promotes hair growth. So just a little technique. If you didn't know what that was, now you do. So I will leave you all with one final natural community term, and that term is going natural. So if you're not familiar with what that actually means, going natural is the process of you allowing your relaxed hair to grow out and embrace your natural texture. And that is something that I did almost 10 years ago, and I honestly will never go back. So if you all thought any of this information was helpful, and if you knew any of these terms, let me know which of these methods, if any of them you are currently using. Comment below. If you thought this information was helpful in any kind of way, please like the video and share this with someone. Share this with someone that is actually starting their natural journey and they might need a little information about all these natural terms. I'm going to continue to make videos like this because I feel like they are needed. Always remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can be notified as soon as my next video drops. And as always, I'm a little different, and different is love. See y'all later.